Hi everyone, Scrappy Kathy here with the day 10 load page. The prompt was about friends, and I might have done a different page, a different sort of page, except that last night my son sent me something like an internet posting from a news source in Houston talking about a Fort Bend County institution that's closing down after 50 years. And it's the Swinging Door, which is a barbecue place that is unlike any other and has absolutely the best food and the most relaxed, informal atmosphere. And it played a big part in our early family history when we first moved to our home in Pecan Grove that was just down the road, and we were landscaping the place before we'd actually moved there, and we weren't familiar with the surroundings. So we drove down the road that was by our house and happened upon first a plant nursery, and we were landscaping, so I stopped in there and bought all kinds of stuff. And the woman who owned it asked if we had just come to the nursery or if we were stopping by on our way into or out of her brother's barbecue place, which was right next door. So I said, no. I said, but we're hungry, so I said, can we go dressed like this? And we were all muddy and had mud on our shoes, and we'd clearly been, digging in the dirt. She said, oh, no. She said, just walk in and you'll see. You'll be perfectly at home. And that was the first of, I don't know, hundreds of times. It became our go-to place on the 8th, and it was a place that we'd take James and his teammates after a softball game or whatever. And when we had a consulting business, we had consultants all around the city. We celebrated our Christmas party. We had about 30 employees. Then we had hosted them and their families for a Christmas party there at Swinging Door. And a couple of years ago, right after John passed away, we did a tour of all of his favorite places, and Swinging Door was definitely on the list. And so I have some photos from there. I also have a photo of the back of the t-shirt I was wearing last night when the news came across. So when I cut that, I got a little of the white border. I cut it from a square photo. So I have this sketch, which was a May bonus sketch from Christie's Beautiful Life. And I love grids, and this is a 3x3 circle grid. So I've cut a bunch of circles, and I have a couple things I'm going to leave square. And so I may do some circles around them. This was a photo of the plate of food, one plate of food, one person's serving. There's the jalapeno and the pickles and the barbecue sauce and the soft white bread that John absolutely loved. The iced tea, just the best plain unsweetened iced tea, brisket and ribs, and I'm not quite sure what that is. There's coleslaw and green beans, and it just absolutely incredible food. They had their own smokers just right outside. It was just, and this, let's see, somewhere here. This is a picture. This is what it looks like now, and it was a fairly dry day, I guess, when we went there. But this used to be kind of a pond, and this palm tree, it's like two palm trees that kind of branch up. They were much, much smaller, and there were ducks out there on that pond. And James while we were waiting for the food to come, James used to go out there and play with the ducks, and when we'd take him and his team, he'd have to take them out there and show them the ducks. So I just hated to hear it's closing. I know that the owner also had some places in Austin, and I think he is kind of getting. He may have gotten to the point where he's ready to retire or ready to move to Austin. So I don't know the full story. And the nursery had closed down before we went in 2021. So I think Leslie has either moved back to Austin or just decided to stop selling plants. And in 2021, we were there, we were just coming out of the COVID era, so that may have hurt her. So I don't really know when. Steve wasn't in residence on the day that we went there, so we didn't get a chance to talk to him and ask him where Leslie was. So the technique prompt was to use a fringe element, and I have this. This is a camera and I'm going to try to take this clip off because it doesn't need to clip to anything. I'll take that off and use it on something else, but I'll do that. And so I'm just going to kind of start. I cut these things without any idea how it's going to go. So I'm going to kind of lay some things out. I know I want this down here, and I think I want this in the middle, and maybe that right there, and the square here, and this. And then I have these things to kind of go behind them to layer up sort of like that and like that. And let's see what else we have. How many of these do I have? I have. Let me see. I thought maybe, let me do this here, and I'll put that there, and I'm going to fussy cut this duck. This is a stamped duck sent to me by my friend Helen Rockabilly Girl, or Island Scrapper on YouTube. She's an absolutely incredible human, and I had the pleasure of actually meeting her in person. We met when she started commenting on YouTube, and then we ended up in some of the same Facebook groups and kind of became Facebook buddies and have been on the same design team for Dottie About Flair, the Flair Hut, and creative team for Scrap-A-Sketch. And she is just the sweetest human. And since the prompt was about friends, the page isn't about her. It's about the fact that hearing that the restaurant was closing kind of feels like losing a good friend, a longtime friend. But I'm using an element on the page that was sent to me by one of my besties out in the world, and she's somebody who is very special, so she's kind of represented here. And there are representations of several other people who mean a lot to me. I know that at somewhere, probably in some of my 12 boxes that I haven't yet scanned and gone through, I know I have photos of that Christmas party that we had at Swinging Door, and maybe some Sunday afternoons where James was out playing with the ducks. But the ducks were kind of an important part of the our life. In fact, James often wanted more to go play with the ducks than to eat, although he never. Okay, so that can go right there. And because we drove a pickup truck to Leslie's to pick up flowers, I'm going to use this truck here, and it's on this with the days of the week, because, and I'm going to put this "I miss you" there to kind of cover up that spot. Anyway, it's there were many days, virtually every day of the week that she was open, we were there. We bought, she had, she was a small nursery, so obviously for really large jobs where we needed, 50 of things, we didn't buy from her, but we bought unique plants and pots and things like that. So where should this guy go? I think that I may do something else there. Maybe this one of a kind and miss you like that. That seems more balanced to me. So I'm going to put maybe this dark red one behind here, because that Swinging Door kind of shows there. I'm going to do the dark teal here and the lighter teal here. The background paper is a My Mind's Eye from Cut and Paste, which was one of my favorite collections back in 2013, so 10 years ago. This red polka dot, why don't I put it here? And this gray polka dot, do I want it there? Sure, why not? Let's reinforce that polka dot theme. I have this flower, which I guess I could put over there with the duck. And then this says, "These are the days I want to remember," so I'm going to put that there. I have this, I pulled this out just because I like the color with all the other colors that are going on here. And I could maybe slide it in there. I have these tickets that I'm going to use here. I'll maybe do that there. No particular meaning to those other than I think that's a bright accent kind of color. I have this, which could slide in almost anywhere. Let me maybe do it like that. I have this tag that is kind of a pretty, it has the teal thing and it has some florals there. So maybe let's beef up this this cluster. But I want that to show. I don't care for that too much. I have a bicycle here because we did ride bicycles there. I pull this recorded bit out, and I could say, put it right there. It says, I was wearing their tea when I heard the news that Swinging Door was closing after 50 years. It was like losing a longtime friend. Now, I do have to use this, and since it has a camera, I thought I'd put it by a photo. So how about I do that there. I have a heart here. I was going to use it maybe right there, but I've already got that there. I might skip the heart and skip this orange camera. And then I've got this little strip that says good times on my mind, and I'm going to maybe use that right there. So that's the page, and I'm going to get started now, kind of gluing it all down. And you know what? I think I just heard James come home, and I know he needs me to do something, so I'm going to leave it like this, leave you like with this, because all that I'm going to do is glue it down and then maybe add some small embellishments like these. And this is a kit I made for one of the INSD challenges over at, excuse me, at Rediscover Your Stash. And so I'm gonna post it there, but it'll also be on Instagram and in the Load Circle community. And I'll eventually put all my Load pages on my Scrappy Kathy Facebook page. So thank you for watching, and adios, Swinging Door. Hate to see you go. Bye.